right. Good morning. Good morning. Think of the collective calories we're burning doing this. If you could angle it this way. So good morning and welcome all to Cushing Academy's beautiful 141st commencement. On this 28th day of May 2016, welcome faculty, staff, alumni, parents, family, and friends. Welcome to the classes of 2017, 18, and 19. Welcome and thank you to our board president, Mr. Richard Harrington, and all of our trustees and trustees emeriti for their outstanding leadership of the Academy. And most importantly, welcome and congratulations to this group of senior penguins seated before us today, the class of 2016. Thank you everyone for joining us here in Ashburnham to celebrate our seniors and all that they've accomplished, that we have accomplished together. And thank you to the many who played a role in making today possible, from the preparation of this ceremony, this tent, the gorgeous Cushing grounds, the food, and the thousands of moving pieces. 151 years ago, Thomas Parkman Cushing wrote in his will, "I am particularly desirous of using a portion of the estate with which God had blessed me for the promotion of so important an object as that of improving the education and thus of strengthening and enlarging the minds of the rising and of future generations. It is the greatest honor to be charged with presenting you, seniors, your Cushing Academy diplomas today. You are the embodiment of Thomas Parkman Cushing's vision and legacy. In looking back on our beginning this year to convocation here on this very common 9 months ago, you'll recall that Ms. Julia Ohm and your student body president, Constantine Leung, offered their reflections on Cushing and making the most of a new school year. Well, that school year is nearly over, with only exams remaining for underclassmen and only minutes remaining for you seniors. Ceremonies and rituals are important, and this one especially so, because it provides us with a moment of and for reflection, for pausing and truly feeling the significance of the moment, of the process, your work, and your achievement. This commencement ceremony, our annual rite of passage, celebrates both closure and introduction, closure to your Cushing experience, and an introduction to the rest of your lives. A fitting way to describe today's commencement celebration comes from novelist Henry Miller, who said that, quote, "One's destination is never a place, but a new way of seeing things." Each member of Cushing's class of 2016, each of you, whether you've been with us for 1, 2, 3, or 4 years, has developed, grown, and learned a new way of seeing things. Your teachers, friends, dorm parents, and more have challenged and supported you to see yourself and the world around, to engage in diversity of experiences, and to come to a new way of seeing things. Last year, my graduation remarks were primarily comprised of words from our amazing faculty, descriptions that the faculty shared with me about how last year's seniors had demonstrated the impressive and diverse ways in which they were curious, creative, and confident learners and leaders. I loved compiling the stories, and I loved sharing them with everyone who attended last year's graduation. This year, however, consistent with Cushing's mission that we exist for students, consistent with being powerfully student-centered, and our daily work to create learning and achievement that is student-driven, I've decided to keep my words to a minimum and build student voices to a maximum. To that end, I want to turn the podium over to 3 students. I've asked 3 graduating seniors to share a bit about their Cushing experience from their own perspective and in their own words. Each experience is simultaneously unique and shared, but I trust that each of you seniors will hear echoes of your own lives in the words of your classmates. I'd like now to call to the stage to join me 3 members of the class of 2016 with their student voices loud and clear to give body to our opening commencement address this morning. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Rachel Zhu, Ethan Roswell, and Caroline Mattoon.
Thank you, Mr. Torino. Good morning, students, parents, faculties, alumni, and of course, my fellow class of 2016. I'm here to remind you of, and also to celebrate, your first attainment in your life. Future college students, today is history. Today will be remembered by you, your family, and your Facebook page. It is a period at the end of a sentence. It is the peak of Mount Wachusett Mountain on annual mountain day. But let me ask you, in striving to reach the top, have you ever lost yourself among the trees? Have you knew your destination, but you were stuck in where you were? Coming to the United States was a bigger challenge than what I imagined. Burning popcorn in the microwave, suffering through feet of snow to walk to class, horrifying pollen allergies, and of course, unexpected pressure during my junior year. In my junior year, I was introduced to the term hypnagogia, defined as walking dream, which is the experience of transitional state from wakefulness to sleep, also named mind awake, body asleep. My tired body, under deep pressures and worries, needed more sleep than I needed to focus on my work. So I lived in a long dream for about a year. My life had totally changed from then on. I was unaware of the reality where I thought what I did yesterday would not affect my tomorrow. I was extremely careless with my responsibilities. I was bored of communicating with my friends and my family. I was exhausted, even repeating my daily routine one day by another. Because I knew the campus too well, my consciousness allowed me to fall asleep whenever I go mentally. Even if I was blind, I could tell you that I could walk from main building to JRC without tripping on my toes. Once, in my dream, there was a clear path to nowhere, but I attempt to follow. On my way, I was stopped by shadows reflected from sunshine. These were the unattainable expectations for myself. These were my regrets too, when I did not take any action to help others. Soon, I went through a panic attack. They say struggle is necessary for growth. This one completely woke me up at the end of junior year. At that second, when I was on stage, I had a conversation with myself. I asked her, "Why am I asleep?" And she answered me, "Because you completely live in your future." Then she disappeared with my long dream. On finals, I presented my thoughts and answers fully. I gave time to focus on each program. I played the best double tennis match ever. I enjoyed performing on stage for the first time. I made all of this happen because I have begun to believe in now, a time phrase that's more powerful and meaningful than past or future. It is now that you should seize. It is now that you should concentrate on. It is now that you should fill in with energy. I share with you this paragraph by Henry David Thoreau from Walden Pond. We must learn to reawaken and keep ourselves awake, not by mechanical acts, but by an infinity expectation of the dawn, which does not forsake us even in our soundest sleep. I know of no more encouraging fact than the unquestionably ability of man to elevate his life by a conscious endeavor. To the class of 2016, I bless you and your bright life path to awakening. This minute, this second, this single count of a heartbeat, feel yourself embrace it, and live to the fullest, because you're always capable of doing more than what your limited expectation could ever imagine. Thank you.
Hey. Good job, Rachel. First off, I'd like to congratulate the class of 2016. Although I'm not Confucius or Yakusawa's fortune cookie maker, I'd like to give a few words of wisdom to the senior class. In the words of John Wooden, if you're not making mistakes, then you're not doing anything. I'm positive that a doer makes mistakes. As I head into college, I will try to emulate this approach to life. One mistake I'll never forget was when I was 10 years old on a lake in East Glacier, Montana. My father, eager to get the fishing day rolling, woke me by throwing me into the car. On the routinely tedious car ride, my dad couldn't stop rambling about catching a rainbow fish. I couldn't quite understand his obsession with catching a fish, and I immediately wanted to catch one to impress him. At the lake, we walked to our favorite spot and began the hunt for the rainbow trout. While imagining myself catching the great rainbow fish, there was a quick tug on my fishing rod. As fiction turned to reality, I hoped it would be a rainbow, so I knew I couldn't let the fish escape. I saw the water break, and out flew the whopping fish, with its scales glimmering against the sunlight, spotting the rainbow my dad had been obsessed about. I looked back to see a grin I had never seen on my dad, which made me anxious. I thought I knew how to accomplish the goal. Blocking everything out, it was the rainbow in me. I excitedly picked up my rod and began to reel in, ignoring the words of my dad to set the hook. With each rotation of my reel, I grew more eager to show my dad the rainbow fish he wanted so badly. I could see the line coming closer, and right when I was about to say, "Hey Dad, look at this rainbow," all that was left on the hook was a half-eaten worm on the end of my line. I made a mistake. I let my dad down. It was the most despairing moment of my short 10 years of living. I knew I messed up. My dad already knew that there wasn't a fish on the end of the rod, and he explained to me that all I had to do was set the hook. I didn't take the proper action by setting the hook. The pit in my stomach intensified when my dad broke the news to me. Losing that fish, he said, wasn't going to be your last or the biggest of your future mistakes. My dad went on to explain how to set the hook and how to catch the next fish. I'll never forget walking back to the car, wanting to catch another rainbow the next day. Most of us have been at our nadir, the point where retrospect approaches like a freight train, the deplorable knot-in-your-stomach type of emotion which disallows your neglect for your mistake. The feeling may seem unavoidable until you take action. Taking action allows for change, allows for you to take control of your life to your benefit. We've all hit that bump in the road, the setback, the problem, the escape of Dad's favorite fish. What matters is how we react to that bump and what we can do to improve. Believe me, I've had my fair share of bumps in the road at Cushing, but from those bumps emerged lessons learned. Whether it's a school assignment, a family issue, or something wrong that we've said or done, we all encounter things that slow us down. Do we spin out of control, or do we set the hook to reel the fish in? We need to keep in mind that a setback is only temporary, that we have choices to improve the situation, and that greater things always lay ahead. We can learn from these inexorable bumps in the road, and our journey will be smoother and much more effective. Mistakes do not define a person, but rather how one learns from their mistakes defines them. The patterns of our behavior create an identity, which others will make judgment from. Through mistakes, we learn more about ourselves than we have through our accomplishments, because the real accomplishment is how we take action to respond. We need to challenge ourselves to make mistakes, ultimately achieving our goals. To create a positive identity, it is essential to capitalize on the inevitability of making mistakes. A common misconception people have of making mistakes is strictly pinpointing the negatives. Every one of us makes mistakes in life. It's the most successful people, however you define your own success, that have grown the most from mistakes and through challenges. I challenge you to see the silver lining of each and every mistake you make in your futures. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, whether it's going to talk to that pretty girl in your new college class or going to that party instead of studying. Hopefully it's the other way around. But my point is, be like John Wooden, be a doer, and don't forget to set the hook.
Thank you, Mr. Torino, Rachel, and Ethan. I am honored to follow in your words. Dorothy Day said, "We have all known the long loneliness, and we have learned that the only solution is love, and that love's with a community." I think the class of 2016 has heard the words, "Take advantage of your last moments here." They go by quickly, a few hundred times these past few weeks. With our time here coming to an end, the fear of graduating and going into the real world, where people like Mrs. Clark and Donnie sadly do not exist. But with the thought of graduating comes the first memories you had at Cushing. I can remember so vividly, and I'm sure it is stained in my parents' mind as well, the morning before we left for Cushing my freshman year. It was a very humid day like today. In my kitchen at home, my 3 very sleepy siblings stood with me as my parents packed up my remaining bags into the car. My older sister tried to comfort me, telling me it would all work out. My twin sister rubbed my back, and my brother was silent per usual. I was so scared the hour drive from my house to Cushing felt more like 4 hours than 1. What if I didn't like it and my decision was wrong? Were the questions that kept running through my mind. The answers to these questions were unknown. The nerves, anxiety, and the pit in my stomach only intensified as the drive continued, but so did the feeling of excitement and surprise that came with this new chapter in my life. There are 61 freshmen in the fall of my freshman year. There are now 45 four-year seniors sitting in front of me. Some of you may have come here by choice or not by choice, perhaps, but the 45 of us have all stayed here for a reason. There are 2 paths in high school, 2 paths in life. One being buying into the school and the community. The other is to not buy in. I believe that the 130 seniors sitting in front of me right now have bought into the community, and without buying in, you never would have had the opportunity you do now. Cushing has given everyone in this room something. I now want to speak directly to all the returning students here. I challenge you to buy into Cushing. Enjoy your time here. Make the seemingly boring things the best parts of Cushing. Don't say, "Oh, there'll be another dance," or "there'll be another sports season." Leave your dorm room on that random night. Start up a conversation with the person sitting alone at dinner, and play a sport you've never played before. Now I'd like to speak directly to my class of amazing seniors. As we leave today and go in our separate directions, I challenge all of you and myself to buy into the new community you're about to be a part of. Keep in the back of your mind the best memories you had here at Cushing. Every one of you, including me, is lucky to be here and be part of such a diverse family I call Cushing. The fear you may be feeling now, like the fear I felt on the drive to Cushing 4 short years ago, is not something to run away from. Use it to strengthen you and propel you forward in life. Lean into fear and the unknown. Always remember that you are not alone in the emotions you are feeling. Change is never easy, whether it is good or bad change. So take the fear and all the emotions you may be feeling about graduation or really anything in life and make the community around you better. Thank you all for making my 4 years here the best 4 years of my life. Congratulations to the class of 2016.
Thank you, Rachel, Ethan, and Caroline. As Caroline said, seated before us today are 130 unique individuals who have woven their own stories into a powerfully diverse and communal Cushing story. You graduates have not only written the narrative of the class of 2016, but also contributed your part to the larger 151-year history of the school. You have in your time with us come not only to see a new way of seeing things, but also to meet the expectation that you will be fully engaged and take action on behalf of others. Historian David McCullough said the great and curious truth of the human experience is that selflessness is the best thing you can do for yourself. Your truest measure of success will be the positive impact you have on other people. Cushing's very own portrait of a graduate reads, "In your journey you will act with empathy and compassion, act with integrity, act with personal and social responsibility, and act with courage on behalf of others and yourself." The operative word is clearly act. Take action in the world. Take action on behalf of others, on behalf of something bigger than yourself. Be and make a difference for others. As we discussed yesterday over breakfast, stay connected to the school. You have, during your time here with us, contributed so much to our story, and you have so much more to offer, not only to the world beyond, but also back on the Cushing campus. A tremendous legacy of Cushing students have come before you. The Watkins Field House, living now at the center of our campus, is an example of this. and a great number of future graduates will experience an even better Cushing because of your continued connection back to this, your school. I'll close my remarks with one last thank you, one that will come from the seniors, to family and friends who are here to commemorate their special day. Seniors, please thank your family and friends for having made your Cushing experience possible by standing and offering them a rousing round of applause. Come on. That's rousing, Dennis? Now, before I move on in our program, I'd like to take a moment to recognize one example of the amazing intellectual work done at Cushing. In this case, by two Cushing students. One is Shayla O'Connor, class of 2014, and the other is a graduating senior here with us today, Kobe Coe. Dr. Sponholtz, among his team of research students, singled out Kobe and Shayla for their work in helping isolate and solve the structure of a new broad-screen antibiotic and a new anti-cancer lead compound from a local plant. We have filed for patent protection based on this compound's anti-cancer properties. The ultimate attainment of any anti-cancer compound is for it to kill effectively cancer cells, but have little to no adverse side effects on the patient undergoing chemotherapy. And fingers crossed, from what Dr. Sponholtz told me yesterday, his description to me, certainly not a chemist, more of an English teacher, Dr. Sponholtz said, "We were hoping for this, and we're getting this." And I said, I can repeat that. So our fingers are crossed. We're on our way to attainment based on the current data toward leukemia, breast, and lung cancer cells. While there have been many dedicated students involved with this project over the last several years, I'm pleased to recognize Shayla, and you don't need to come up, Kobe, but if you would just stand so we can give you a round of applause on behalf of all the kids working on the project. So now I'd like to ask Cheryl Storm to join me on stage. Known as Silver Penguins, our longest-serving faculty members are at the heart of this community. Today, we have the opportunity to thank and bid farewell to Madame Cheryl Storm, who is retiring after 34 years of distinguished and dedicated teaching. Though we know that it is created through hard work and commitment to excellence, what happens in the classrooms of great teachers sometimes seems like magic. The magic experienced in Madame Storm's classrooms was memorably described by former student Nate Burkus, class of 1990, when he wrote in his book, The Things That Matter, quote, "I began my fascination with France thanks to my glamorous French teacher, Cheryl Storm, who had cool earrings, wore her bangs at a very chic angle, and rocked a designer scarf over her shoulder. Here we were," he continued, "sitting in a classroom in Massachusetts, believing that we were in the heart of Paris. Madame Storm, you'll be greatly missed, and we are glad that you'll be nearby. You'll forever be a penguin, a distinction shared with your daughters, Jennifer, class of 92, and Laura, class of 99. We salute you and offer our deep gratitude, having earned the respect and admiration of all. Your dedication and devotion to the Cushing community make it only fitting that you be forever recognized as an honorary member of the class of 2016. Thank you. It is a great pleasure to welcome back and honor Will Day, class of 1989, as the 2016 recipient of the Cushing Academy Leadership Award. We're also delighted to welcome his wife, Amy, and their children, Spencer and Abigail. Established in 2010, our Leadership Award honors exemplary leadership through personal and professional accomplishments and contributions to society. Will has achieved distinction in each of these realms. Will grew up in Connecticut and enrolled in Cushing his sophomore year, where he immersed himself as an actor, artist, athlete, proctor, and in his senior year as student body president. One teacher wrote, "He has become one of the most active members of the class. His dramatic flair and willingness to try anything are commendable." You packed a lot into 3 years, and then wrote on your senior yearbook page, which I do have here if anyone wants to see later, "I can't believe it," he wrote. "They're finally letting me out." And he went on to write, "Cushing is definitely a place where one can actually find oneself. I owe a lot to Cushing, my parents, and my grandparents." A graduate of Ohio Wesleyan University and Pratt Institute, Will did not immediately begin his career as an artist. He served with the Peace Corps in Tunisia and then worked in finance, architecture, and real estate development before returning to his love of painting. Will has described this path as the scenic route. Today, he is a nationally recognized contemporary abstract expressionist, and his art is featured in public and private collections throughout the United States, including here at Cushing, where after his a reunion several years ago, he left one of his paintings, and we have it hung in main building. At his own graduation, Will received the Pliny A. Boyd 1894 Award for the Spirit of General Helpfulness, and it doesn't surprise me that his teachers still speak of his kindness and generosity of spirit. When I invited him to be our speaker, he immediately said yes, and added that he wanted to arrive a few days beforehand to spend time getting to know the class of 2016. He spent all day Thursday with students in a workshop over in the art building before attending the senior dinner dance in Dina's and my backyard at Jewett House 2 nights ago to collaborate with them on a project you will soon hear more about. Asked in an interview last year what his proudest accomplishment over the years had been, Will replied, "Giving back to the community. I see myself as a vehicle to manifest creativity, and I try to be that connector for other people too." Will, we are honored to have you with us on this special day. Thank you for all your leadership and example to us all.
So heavy. Okay. Whew. Here we go. Thank you, Chris, for the kind introduction. You are a stellar headmaster, and Cushing is lucky to have you. Really appreciate that. I also want to thank the entire Board of Trustees for inviting me here today. And I'm especially grateful to several teachers: Bob Johnson, Cheryl Storm, Norm Carey, Michael Deacon, and Mark Burke. Each of you shaped me as a student, an individual, and an artist. So, class of 2016, hello! Good to see you again. It's been a great couple days sharing your stories and trying to learn more about who you guys are as a class. I have to tell you, it is a huge honor for me to be here today and to speak and share my story. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to start right here, Cushing Academy, 1987. 27 years ago, basically, I was sitting in your seats. The only difference, it was a little hotter, okay? Just a little. We didn't have a tent. I came to Cushing as a sophomore after having a lousy freshman year in my hometown high school. Well, the easiest explanation, I was disengaged and unmotivated. My parents had a good sense to realize that I needed a different kind of environment, a place where I could connect, a place that would give me a broader lens which wished to view the world. a place that would allow me to be me. My time at Cushing changed the course of my life. I'm sure of it. You see, I came from a big sports town, Darien, Connecticut. Yes, and while I love playing hockey, soccer, and lacrosse, part of me was yearning to explore other paths as well, like art. Even then, at your age, I felt a sense of total freedom and possibility every time I looked at a blank canvas. It was nothing short of awe-inspiring to figure out the possibilities of what I could paint. What does your heart want you to do? Is the question Bob Johnson asked. Talk about a generous question. What does your heart want you to do? There was no right or wrong. Whatever I answered brimmed with promise. No judgment, no expectations, no prodding me one way or another. My teacher simply wanted me to follow my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, that lesson has stayed with me my entire life and is the reason I became an artist. But not straight away. It wasn't that easy. There were plenty of other turns that I took first. Sometimes I just wanted to explore the world. And sometimes because I felt the pressure to conform to a more traditional career. More recently, I followed my heart because I could no longer afford not to. That is why I only became a professional artist 7 years ago. It took decades of trial and error, experimentation, trust, love, and faith to reach this point. It was all worth it. I can tell you that. Graduates, I'm standing here a very fulfilled man. I'm married to the best woman in the world, my wife, Amy. I'm the father to 2 children, Spencer and Abby. And I live in the community of my choice, Boulder, Colorado. And every day, I get to show up in my studio and create art. All of it feeds my soul. Right now, your lives are a blank canvas. What you fill that canvas with is entirely up to you. You can and must make things happen at every juncture, including the moments where you feel life took a wrong turn. Well, how on earth did I wind up here, you wonder aloud? I'm still challenged by that thought, but trust me, I can tell you from experience, there is enormous value in recognizing how wrong turns can ultimately set you on the right path. The key, how, is to keep moving forward. 3 ways, that's all I'm going to talk about today. 3 points. Number 1, you must follow your heart. Number 2, you must use your resources. And number 3, you must connect to the world. That's it. Those 3 nuggets, they are the essential ingredients to make things happen. Now, I've already told you that Cushing was the first place I learned to pay attention to the direction of my heart. Nugget number 1. My time in here also instilled in me the desire to see and want to be part of the world. Nugget number 3. I need to give Mrs. Storm a shout out here. She was my French teacher for 3 years. And she was the person that most cultivated my passion for cultures and languages. It was her voice I heard in my head when years later I decided to apply to the Peace Corps. Thank you, Cheryl. That was in 1994. I graduated from Ohio Wesleyan University with a double major in French and International Studies. The Peace Corps hired me as a community development agent in Spika, Tunisia. Tunisia! A place I knew nothing about before packing my bags for a 2-year assignment. Whew! I was so excited to explore North Africa. If you're a history buff like me, Tunisia is a fascinating country because it's one of the few countries that's been ruled by so many civilizations dating back to the Roman Empire. I could feel this history as I walked the streets of Tunis amid the Roman, French, and Islamic architecture. Everything was steeped in religious and cultural symbolism and ignited in me a real appreciation for architectural history. In Spica, I was tasked with the goal of developing sustainable programs for the community. One of my jobs was to oversee a local youth house to help provide activities for the kids, anything to keep them out of trouble. I organized a co-ed Little League program, environmental programs, and of course, art experiences, all in Arabic. That was pretty challenging. I also saw an opportunity to support women artisans. They were selling gorgeous textiles, clothing, and rugs, and needed a more viable market. So I got a grant from Aid to Artisans to help fund a cooperative. I was 24 years old, and I didn't know the first thing about getting grant money, but I figured it out. Use your resources. Nugget number 2. As you might imagine, the people of Spica had very little material possessions. There were no cell phones at the time, no internet, no iPads. This is a world you'll never know. Value in Spica was measured by what residents could create from their land and from their hands. They used their resources, nugget number 2, and they taught me a lifelong lesson to use mine. Anything is within reach when we are purposeful with our intentions and tap the ideas, knowledge, and passion to make the impossible possible. I want you to remember that. Use your resources and the impossible becomes possible. Living amid the purity and solitude of Spica unleashed my own creativity. I brought a few brushes and paints with me, and I found real joy in the creative expression. The more I painted, the more I wanted to. Painting was nothing short of a spiritual experience for me. It fed me as an individual, but also on a communal level. Nugget number 3, connect to the world. People young and old stopped to watch me paint murals on concrete walls where I lived. This was my first insight into how art transcends language and cultural barriers. The people yearned for connection. So together we began to paint murals. Our murals depicted the landscape of North Africa's and Tunisia's own indigenous surroundings. Local leaders even organized an art day, a day for all artists of all kinds to come together. Painters, sculptors, poets, musicians. It was magical, making things happen in Spica. Never had I felt so good about the world or my place or purpose within it as I did living there. I tried to bring that unbridled optimism home with me after my 2-year term of the Peace Corps ended. This was the summer of 1996, and I had one goal in mind: to change the world. I wanted to change the world. I was a little idealistic, I know, but after a second or two, my parents looked at me and said, "Okay, Will, that sounds awesome. So what's next?" And reality set in. The transition wasn't exactly easy. My home environment was a world apart from Tunisia. Very quickly, I fell back into my old life and succumbed to the pressure of keeping up with my friends, many of them who were working on Wall Street. Everyone seemed to be working on Wall Street. So what did I do? I went out and got a job on Wall Street. Why not? Remember, I told you how wrong turns can ultimately lead you onto the right path. This was one of those turns. I used my resources. Nugget number 2, in my case, a cousin, to pursue a job as a financial sales executive at Bloomberg. I was a pretty unlikely candidate. I had no corporate experience, nor had an MBA. I just came home from the Peace Corps with long hair. I didn't cut it for 2 years. The team at Bloomberg was definitely skeptical about me, but I held my own. In fact, the guy who interviewed me made a big comment about the rigor of the job. He didn't want to hire me, so I looked him straight in the eye and said, "You know, it was pretty challenging to be in the Sahara Desert alone, trying to make things happen. But I did. I learned to be resourceful. And if I can make it work there, I'm confident I can make it work here." I got the job. I was so pumped. Working at Bloomberg was a good fit at first, but never did I feel the sense of awe or wonder or purpose that I felt in Tunisia. But I still was grateful for the experience and gave it my all. You too will inevitably find yourselves in situations that aren't quite right. And you'll have to choose to be unhappy or make things better. There was a reason I took this job. I'm proud to say that I did everything in my ability to make it work. I stayed until I knew that I had done the best job I could. I stayed until I could no longer stifle my creativity amid the rigid confines of the job. I stayed until I could no longer ignore my heart. So obviously I didn't build my career at Bloomberg, but there was something enduring that came out of the job. Well, you see, there was this woman named Amy. I was totally intrigued by her. She was working for a competitor of Bloomberg. And she was stealing a lot of my clients. That wasn't good. My boss said, "Take care of it." So while trying to find out all her sales secrets, we fell in love and got married. Amy actually got me my next job, not working on Wall Street, but working for an internet billing solutions company. 1999. You guys were just being bored. And it was the dawn of the internet, and let me tell you, everybody wanted a piece of it. It was a whole new world. Like so many people, I got swept up by the internet frenzy, leaping to different companies in search of the next big thing. But it wasn't where I was meant to be. In fact, I was terrible at those jobs. It wasn't for me. Once again, I found myself in a position that stifled my creativity. Once again, I had not followed my heart. What happened next took me toward earning a master's degree in architecture, moving to Los Angeles to work as an architect, and finally to Boulder, Colorado in 2007. Why architecture? Aside from being a respectable, creative profession, it's also the most business-minded of the arts program, or so I thought. Pratt Institute just started an architectural program, and I got accepted. I loved my time there. But as I began to venture out into the business world of architecture, I was unprepared for how technical and structured the work really was. We moved to Los Angeles because of my job, and while it was a great place, it wasn't the right fit for our family. So we decided to move to Boulder, Colorado. Boulder has a strong, creative, and entrepreneurial environment. We wanted that. So I was still working as an architect when we first moved there, though more and more I found my place disappearing into my happy place, the studio I set up in my basement. I felt such a release in the studio, and it was where I was most alive. It's where truth and beauty came together for me. All I had to do was follow my heart on the blank canvas, nugget number one. Then, the economy tanked, 2008. I lost my job. This was a blow. How would I support my family? I jumped at several odd jobs, and I was really scared. Very quickly, I began to spiral into a pit of despair, which wasn't like me. But I kept painting through this dark time. And there is no doubt in my mind, it saved me. I just kept putting paint on canvas and showing up to do what I was meant to do. Day after day, night after night, I must have felt lost in the world, but art grounded me and renewed my faith. Realizing this with such clarity at such a fragile moment, at a major turning point, there could be no refuting the direction of my heart, and that art was my connection to the world. This was a now or never moment. So, I asked Amy, hey, hon, what do you think about giving me 2 years to make a go as a full-time artist? And she said, in the worst economy we have ever seen, with a mortgage and 2 kids? You're crazy. I said, whoo, yes. Believe it or not, she said yes. I love you, Amy. Thank you. Talk about serendipity. That summer, I entered the Boulder Downtown Arts Festival, where I won a blue ribbon and sold 3 paintings. I could finally pay my mortgage that month. Woo, what a relief. It was an amazing feeling, and it validated everything I knew to be true about myself. I am an artist. I am an artist. My life came full circle the moment I committed to my true path. I'm right where I want to be. Now, some of you probably think artists work in isolation, staring at the blank canvas all day. Well, that is not my business model. Yes, I do stare at the blank canvas. Yes, I do paint what's in my heart. But I'm actually more motivated and inspired by other people's interests. Each of us has our own path. Success for me, I realized, is not manifesting my own ideas. It's manifesting the beauty that others want to see. My process involves partnering with people and organizations to help make their visions a reality. Nothing excites me more than to have a creative dialogue with clients who then give me the freedom to put their stories on canvas. And that's what we did the other day. Right here at Cushing, the entire class of 2016 helped me paint a masterpiece. It's right behind us. Each of you made your mark on it. Some of it may be seen, some of it may be hidden, but you did it. You made an effort, and you helped me. I now want to present your stories that we created briefly on the canvas. Woo! Oh! A little different, huh? So, I will tell you more about what it represents after. But I wanted to excite you, and I want to say thank you. This is for you. And you can use this, and it will be here for Cushing. It's only fitting that this belongs here, because this Cushing has been a place that has nurtured generations of creative, confident, and globally minded students. You are so fortunate to have this wonderful foundation. Remember Cushing's important ideals and the faculty who will continue to care and support you as you journey forward. I, too, will be a resource should you ever need it. I want to close with this powerful quote by Vasily Kandinsky, the Russian painter who's been a major influence for me. An empty canvas, apparently really empty, that says nothing and is without significance, almost dull. In fact, is crammed with thousands of undertones and tensions and is full of expectancy. Right now, your lives are an empty canvas, full of expectancy and undertones and choices that you have yet to realize. The world is yours. It's time for you to make things happen. What does your heart want you to do? Don't be deterred by wrong turns that you may or may not take. Believe in yourselves. Don't give up. Keep moving forward, and remember these 3 nuggets. Follow your heart, connect to the world, and use your resources. Good luck, class of 2016.
So many seniors were among the award recipients honored at yesterday's ceremony, and their names are printed in your program. I, along with Mr. Richard Harrington, the chairman of the Board of Trustees, will now present the senior awards. Not yet. And that's a false lead. That are reserved each year for presentation at the graduation ceremony. Before we begin, I'd like to announce a few points of order for seniors. First, if your name is called, please come up to the platform on the stairs to your left, my right here, and exit via the stairs to your right. Families, when your graduate is called to receive an award or diploma, a photograph will be taken by a professional photographer who will be in contact with you in a few weeks with personalized photos. Finally, because we are streaming live, if you leave your seat to take photographs, which you are most welcome to do, we ask that you quickly return to your seat so that sight lines aren't obstructed. And now for the 2016 graduation awards. Some of today's awards are in the form of Kiva cards. Kiva is a nonprofit organization that connects lenders to borrowers around the world who are seeking business loans to lift them out of poverty. Our students will have the opportunity to choose the loan project they wish to fund. In awarding Kiva cards, we continue to encourage students to make a difference. The Deborah Evans Class of 1974 Award is given in memory of a young woman whose dedication to life was limitless, whose spirit brightened every facet of our school, whose warmth and concern touched everyone, and whose presence and vitality have become a cherished part of our academy. She gave Cushing the best of herself. This year, the recipient of the award is Jessica Kinsley. The Holden Class of 1888 prizes are given in honor of William and Eliza Holden, both of whom truly exemplify the characteristics of loyalty and friendliness. We have 2 deserving recipients for this honorable prize, Piper Herod and Chad Shade. The Pliny A. Boyd Class of 1894 prizes. I have to ask Will Day to return to the podium with me. Will, this is the award Will won at graduation. The Pliny A. Boyd Class of 1894 prizes are given to the girl and boy who have demonstrated the best spirit of general helpfulness and have had the best citizenship record during the current school year. The very worthy recipients this year are Caroline Mattoon and Jordan Tevens. The Senator Marcus A. Coolidge Award. This is actually, Will, you got to come back. You won this at graduation, too. The Senator Marcus A. Coolidge Award was established to honor Senator Coolidge's leadership as mayor of Fitchburg, a United States senator, and as a trustee and board president of Cushing Academy for 28 years. This award is presented annually to the president of the Academy's student government to highlight the importance of leadership in politics and government as exemplified by the senator's career. So, of course, this year the recipient is Constantine Leon. Will not be joining me for this award. The Eaton class of 1900 and Dunn class of 1899 prizes. The Eaton and Dunn families are synonymous with service to the Academy as exemplified by Alice Eaton Dunn and Frederick J. Dunn, both of the class of 1899, as well as Lillian Eaton, class of 1900. Mr. Dunn was a longtime trustee and board president, and Miss Eaton taught at Cushing Academy for 30 years. This award goes to that girl and that boy who have rendered the finest service to the Academy during the current academic year. The recipients this year are Sivian Chen and Michael Stamus. I'd like to ask Mr. Richard Harrington, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, to join me to present the Pliny A. Boyd 1894 Award and the Webster Moulton 1944 Award, known colloquially as the Ideal Cushing Girl and Boy Prizes.
Thank you. First, before I do the award, I want to congratulate, on behalf of the trustees, our graduating class of 2016. I also want to congratulate the parents who took this ride with them. And I also want to congratulate the faculty and staff that were your teachers, your coaches, your dorm parents, your advisors, and probably a shoulder to cry on once in a while. So I want to congratulate you all for a job well done to these graduating seniors. Now, the Pliny A. Boyd 1894 Award is given to that girl who has demonstrated the highest character and ideals, and through them has exerted the greatest influence. The recipient of this award is known as the Ideal Cushing Girl. She has earned the greatest level of respect from her fellow students and faculty alike. And a vote by the faculty, the Pliny A. Boyd 1894 Award for 2016 is Mackenzie Burke. The Webster Moulton 1944 Award is given in memory of a boy who greatly loved this school. Though stricken with illness while a student at Cushing, he set an example of courage and cheerfulness. A capable student and athlete, he found joy in helping others and in participating in the activities of our school. This award, commonly known as the Ideal Cushing Boy, goes to that boy who most nearly emulates the standards of character, scholarship, and general promise set forth by Webster Moulton. By vote of the faculty, the Webster Moulton 1944 Award recipient for 2016 is Ryan Masson.
The Alumni Salutatorian Award. The salutatorian has the honor of having attained the second highest cumulative average in the graduating class. This year, there are two students with a tie for this achievement. The two class of 2016 salutatorians are Sivian Chen and Jiping Zhen. Sivian and Jesse, please come on up. the Josephine Vinod Cook 1933 Valedictorian Award. The honor of leading one's class academically is a rare distinction. It's an honor to be forever worn. The honor of leading the class of 2016 this year has been earned by Mackenzie Burke. At this time, I invite the valedictorian of your class, Mackenzie, to give her valedictory address.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mackenzie Burke, and I'm a four-year day student from Hollis, New Hampshire. My dad has worked here for 20-plus years, my sister is a rising junior, and my cousin Olivia is currently graduating with me, too. You could say that Cushing truly runs through my bloodline, and technically without Cushing, I probably wouldn't be standing here due to the fact that my parents met as faculty members back in the 80s. Although I'm valedictorian, I'm not going to college next year. And yes, you heard that right. I will not be attending college in the fall of 2016. Rather, I will be attending George Washington the following year, making me class of 2021 instead of 2020. During my year abroad, I will be traveling to various countries, volunteering and working. This fall, I head off to East Africa, where I will be going to Tanzania, Ghana, and Kenya to volunteer in a rhino sanctuary with 12 other opportunities to volunteer, including providing healthcare to Maasai women. It's obviously not the conventional route, but I've learned during my time that it's okay to take the path less traveled. It's not that I'm avoiding college because I don't think I'm well prepared. It's that Cushing has helped me gain the confidence to reach for my goals. Cushing has prepared us all to outgrow the school, which just doesn't necessarily mean it has to cease to exist in our lives. However, transformation is all relative. It can be in great quantities or even small, subtle shifts. The size of transformation does not influence its effects. Essentially, Cushing has changed all of us in one sense or another, whether that is in large, noticeable strides or hardly recognizable ways. But Cushing didn't change us all as people overnight. It was a gradual process over the past 4 years that shaped me into the person I am today. A wise teacher once brought me into his office junior year and handed me a sheet of paper that appeared to be photocopied from a book. It was a passage from Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. The SparkNotes version of this passage he handed me was that a father and son were lying in bed, and the son was struggling to see his place in the vast world and his daunting insignificance of his existence. The dad then asked the little boy, well, what would happen if a plane dropped you in the middle of the Sahara Desert and you picked up a single grain of sand with a pair of tweezers and moved it 1 millimeter? The boy was puzzled and responded that he would have just moved a grain of sand. The father pressed on and asked what that would mean in the greater sense. The boy was puzzled, so the father told the boy that even the Sahara Desert had been in the world since the creation of Earth. By just moving 1 grain of sand, the little boy would have changed it, and therefore changed the world. So just like that one piece of sand, our journey through Cushing started with small changes that led us down this path to receiving our diplomas today. From freshman year up until now, it's been a building process, making me a better person in the end. I came in as a very scrawny freshman, never having left my small farming town. I was shy, hardly liked to speak up in class, and slightly awkward. I would never dare sitting with the upperclassmen, speak out against them, or even make eye contact for too long, afraid they might come up to me, confront me, or even just say hello. But Cushing has allowed me to grow academically and socially. I learned how to take hold of my education process and get the most out of it I possibly could. But most importantly, Cushing taught me how to feel comfortable in my own skin. During my time at Cushing, I spent most of my time in the field or in the classroom. I learned the true meaning of grit during those long, grueling, and often freezing field hockey practices, staying up the extra half hour to perfect a paper. I learned the importance of giving back to those around you and being truly grateful for the opportunities presented to you. Even though these changes may seem intangible or hard to conceptualize, they are some of the very lessons that I will hold near and dear to my heart. It's not always the size of a transformation of someone, but the value of their transformation. Oftentimes, the subtlest changes can have the greatest impact. Some of the very people that are responsible for the transformation of the class of 2016, myself included, are the wonderful teachers. They are the heart and soul of Cushing. Without them working day in and day out tirelessly, making sure they're always available to talk, whether it be about school or your personal life, Cushing would not be the same. They shape the true character of Cushing as a whole. Although I may be biased being a faculty kid, I don't think I've ever met a more caring group of adults. I know we could turn to any of them to help us through a tough math problem, work out social drama, or even just to catch up on what's going on in our lives. Being a tour guide, I'm constantly being asked what makes Cushing stand out from all the other New England boarding schools. And every time I answer that question, I can wholeheartedly say that the Cushing community is what stands out. This place is home. Between the faculty, staff, and my fellow students, everyone considers it home. But I think the best part is that many people consider it home, and it just doesn't fit one person's needs. And everyone's journey throughout Cushing is vastly different. Some find it life-changing, some find it a breath of fresh air, and some find it a next step in their life's plans. Although I didn't find Cushing life-changing, that doesn't mean it wasn't transformational. If I could thank Cushing for anything, it would be for teaching me the importance of having confidence in myself and the importance of surrounding yourself with people that build you up and celebrate your successes. It's these small life lessons that will take me further than any history or calculus lecture ever will. And I suggest, especially to the senior class, to take time about what Cushing has offered you and thank those that have helped you get here walking across this stage. The energy and excitement and pure happiness under this tent is palpable for sure. I know that I've had a wave of emotions these past couple weeks, ranging from pure joy that I'm finally done with high school, to inevitable sadness driven by the fact that I may never see some of my favorite teachers again, especially with a handful of them leaving. I'm excited to finally get my hands on the diploma that I've worked so hard for, anxious to see what's in store for me next, and maybe even a little worried that I might trip on the stage when I'm walking across it. I know a bunch of the girls in the audience know what I mean when you really have to pay attention putting one foot in front of the other, especially in heels. However, the nostalgia really hit home hard during senior skip day. I was sitting at the picnic table just looking around at everyone and realizing that we had less than a week until we graduated. I just played my last high school sports game, gone to our final prom, and there I was on our senior skip day. It all seemed so surreal. I thought about all the memories our class had made at Cushing together, both good and bad. Although I may not remember what the Supreme Court decided in Greta versus Bollinger, sorry, Mr. Parker, or what causes pepsinogen in the stomach to break down into pepsin, which I now know is hydrochloric acid, I will never forget all the lessons that I learned during my time here. Both in the classroom and on the field, our teachers, coaches, classmates, and teammates have impacted us all for the better. So as I see it, this crossroad between high school and college, or wherever the next step in your life may bring you, is complex. You might want to remember and cherish the memories, but also create a new path full of different people and different memories. It's much like transferring athletic history from Heslin Gym to the new field house. Countless games have been won and lost in Heslin. Thousands of injuries have been nursed back to health by our amazing trainers, and both tears of joy and sorrow have been shed. But now that book written by Heslin has closed its last and final chapter, just for a new history to be written in the field house. New records will be set, new games will be won and lost, but the heart of Cushing athletics will remain the same through the transition. As we leave Cushing today, this chapter that we have written these past few years, or 1 year, have finally come to a close. We have come to outgrow our home, Cushing, and are seeking to make ourselves a new home. I was driving home at one point this week, and the radio started playing a song called Temporary Home by Carrie Underwood. The chorus goes as follows. This is our temporary home. It's not where we belong. Windows and rooms that we're passing through. This is just a stop onto where we're going. I'm not afraid because I know this is our temporary home. Cushing is a home to me and many of my fellow classmates, but I know it's not my only home. I will continue on to make myself new homes as I journey on into my future. However, even though we have outgrown it, doesn't mean that we have to cease loving it. Cushing is the one aspect that ties us all in this room together. It has given all of us in the class of 2016 the ability to grow and move on. We are now looking forward to all the adventures that await us. So take one last look around, because after today, you will be writing a whole new chapter in your book of life. Some people you see around you will still be present, however, some will not. So make an effort to thank them. Write them a note. Tell them how much you appreciate them for being a part of your life. And since I have the chance to do so, I want to thank some of the people that have impacted my time at Cushing. First of all, thank you to my coaches and teachers. You've taught me more than you can imagine. You are honestly some of the most genuine and hardworking people I've ever met, and I couldn't think of Cushing without thinking of you. And here's to my friends for making me laugh so hard I couldn't breathe, encouraging me to do my best, and reminding me of the important aspects of life, and teaching me to simply just have fun and relax. And last but not least, thank you to my parents. I couldn't have imagined my high school career without you both by my side the whole step, every way. You're my biggest supporters and best friends. Thank you, Dad, for always having your classroom door open, just even if I wanted to pop in and chat. Even if you do tell bad math jokes, I couldn't be happier to call you my father. Thanks, Mom, for teaching me the importance of a balance between fun and academics. I probably would have gone insane if I didn't have your countless calming advice telling me it was okay to put down the books every once in a while. I hope I can be half the woman you are someday. I love you both more than words can describe. And finally, a thank you to my sister. Although on many occasions we were on opposing sides, when we teamed up together, no one could stop us or make us laugh harder. You taught me how to be patient. I'm still waiting for the day you change the empty toilet paper roll. How to take life not so seriously, and most importantly, you taught me not to care what others think. I love having you a sister, and I cannot wait to see where life takes you, kid. And to end it all, an enormous thank you to my fellow classmates for making my final year such a memorable one. Congratulations to the class of 2016. We finally made it.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Before we get to what we're all here for, I just want to say we go through awards day yesterday, awards today, tremendous words from your classmates, our commencement speaker, Will Day. But if you think about it and all these stories that are told, and you just hopefully met someone you hadn't met before, but you think of all the narratives that come together under this tent for this moment. And as Mackenzie said, they all connect back to this school, right? And we're on the commons at the center of it, and we all converge, an infinite number of stories together. It is really powerful, and now we send off other stories into the world. Now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, the presentation of diplomas.
Kira Ann Tierney. Edward Christian Anglo. Pablo Santiago Arancibia Alvarez. Alex Arnaud. Mackay J. Ashton Langford. Nicole Linnea Auslander. Dan Bay. Christina Ningsin Bao. Charlotte Patricia Barletta. Benjamin Thomas Barton. Drew Thomas Benedict. Brianna Birmingham. Timothy Ronald Bouchard. Christian Michael Bradley. Max Brainin. Mackenzie Lee Burke. Olivia Bailey Burke. Ronnie Carol Callahan. Cassidy Elaine Cowett. Dalen Jazz Carter. Gabrielle Alexis Chen. Sarita Leanne Chen. Yuxing Chen. China Ryder Chrisman. The Gregory Ciatone. Talia Ivana Clarissa. Jared T. Creech. Lucas Tecumseh Curtis. Matthew Michael Dillon. Jack G. Dodd. Nicholas Edouard Dutil. Gavin Pearson Dykeman. Alejandro Estrellas Hernandez. Jack Ryan Fay. Nora Elaine Flaherty. John Edwin Forrester. Timothy Scott Gardner. Michael M. Garvey. Grace Jacqueline Gendron. Olivia Rose Gilchrist. Olivia Michelle Green. Luciana Guerra Isaacson. Rachel Ann Guerriero. John Lockwood Hall. Scott Allen Harlan. Piper Gabriella Fitzpatrick Harrod. Tiffany Hartano. Jiachao Leo He. Brent Thomas Hill. Sake Fergus Ho. James Cameron Jarvis. Sophia Farhana Jeffrey. Jacob Brandon Camps. Derek C. Kasperzak. Ruby Cow. Miller Parkhill Keene. Jessica Ann Kinsley. Quaniel Kobe Ko. Evelyn Krippner. Kyle Alexander Kubblebeck. Mert Yashar Kula. Arden Maeve Kuza. Rafikula Lalander. Caillou Vicky Lau. Jayun B. Lee. Constantine Leung. Rock Lee. Benjamin Wolf Lipper. Jueshi Amy Liu. William Archie Livis. Zhangyi Vivian Liu. James Miles Millette. Julian G. Majorano. Liam Edward Manson. Ryan Cody Marsan. Caroline Grace Mattoon. Joseph Metviner. Jeffrey Ethan Morgan. Frederick Stephen Morlock. Michaela Rose Parker Muchler. Sienna Navarro Pasillo. David Hay Nevins. Kristen P. Odorico. Oluwafolabomi Olujimi. Jae-yoon Park. Claire Gordon Parcells. Bartholomew Perret. Gianna Noel Pizzulo. Tathia Aliyah Primasani. Gina M. Pustizi. Matthew Paul Quinlan. Napat Roshanapur. Ethan Clark Rosewell. Danielle Hannah Rubinski. Anne Salmon. Sabrina R. Samandar. Evan William Sampson. Toshinori Sato. Dan Adam Schwartzefeld. Simret Samin. Chad David Shade. Vikram Kamal Sharma. Reggie Chimene. Michael Gregory Stamus. Amelia Maria Strasdis. Yu Susaki. Ryoma Takahashi. Jordan Dean Tevens. Ho-Yi Kenneth Tse. Go Yumura. Christopher John Usman. Diego Alonso Vargas. Carl Neil Vazolis. Adam Wagman. Wen-Yi Vivian Wang. Patrick T. Watson. Brendan Thomas White. Rafi Pradana Wajojo. Alexandra Bree Wolf. Wisarut Win Warakantata. Fiona Yang. Valerie Beatriz Yapur Pinheiro. Caroline Young. Kaylee Anna Young. Zipian Jesse Jen. Minhao Nelson Zhao. Nicholas Zhao. Yijuan Rachel Zhu.
So if the class of 2016 could all stand. And I present to everyone else the Cushing Academy class of 2016. Okay, one more point of order before we finish our exercises. In a moment, we will join together in singing the Cushing Alma Mater, which is printed in your program. But first, let me explain how we'll conduct the recessional. After we sing the Alma Mater, the faculty will lead our graduates in the recessional and proceed to the senior walkway, where they will congratulate the senior class in our traditional handshake. After the senior handshake, I invite guests to enjoy lunch in our dining hall. Thank you once again for attending this year's graduation ceremony, and now please rise and join me in singing the Alma Mater.